The speaker interrupted his nightmare. "This is Fire Control, Admiral. With your permission, I'll scatter a few C-bombs." Heselton leaped for the microphone. "Are you out of your mind? We haven't the slightest idea of the forces that guy has. We might be in the center of a whole blooming fleet. Ever think of that?" The alien's face, still smirking, appeared again on the screen. "He says," said the interpreter, "that he finds the presence of our armed ship very annoying." Heselton knew what he had to do. "Tell him," he said, swallowing hard, "that we apologize. This part of the galaxy is strange to us." "He says he is contemplating blasting us out of the sky." Heselton said nothing, but he longed to reach out and throttle the grinning alien face. "However," the interpreter continued, "he will let us go safely if we leave immediately. He says to send an unarmed diplomatic vessel next time, and maybe his people will talk to us." "Thank him for his kindness." Heselton's jaws clenched so tightly they ached. "He says," said the interpreter, "to get the hell out." The grinning face snapped off the screen, but the cackling laughter continued to reverberate in the control room until the radio shack finally turned off the receiver. "Reverse course," the admiral ordered quietly. "Maximum drive." 1,000 missile launchers, designed to disintegrate solar systems, were deactivated. Hundreds of gyros swung the mile-long ship end for end and stabilized her on a reverse course. Drive units big enough to power several major cities whined into operation. Anti-grav generators with the strength to shift small planets counterbalanced the external acceleration, and the ship moved away with a speed approaching that of light. "Well," muttered Heselton, "that's the very first time Big Joe has ever had to retreat." As if it were his own personal failure, he walked slowly across the control room and down the corridor towards his cabin. "Admiral!" Lost in thought, Heselton barely heard the call. "Admiral, look!" Pausing at the door to his cabin, Heselton turned to face the ship's chief astronomer, running up, waving two large photographs. "Look, sir," the professor gasped for breath. "We thought this was a spot on the negative, but one of the men got curious and enlarged it about 100 times." He held up one of the photos. It showed a small, fuzzy, but unmistakable spaceship. "No wonder we couldn't spot it with our instruments." Heselton snatched it out of his hand. "I see what you mean. This ship must have been thousands of miles." The professor shook his head. "No, sir. As a matter of fact, it was quite close by. But we figure that the total length of the alien ship was roughly an inch and a half." End of A Matter of Magnitude by Al Savchik.